Kyrgyz or Kyrgyz is a Turkic language spoken by about 4 million people in Kyrgyzstan as well as China, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkey, Uzbekistan, Pakistan and Russia. Kyrgyz is a member of the Kyrgyz-Euro-Kipchak subgroup of the Kipchak languages, and modern-day language convergence has resulted in an increasing degree of mutual intelligibility between Kyrgyz and Kazakh. Kyrgyz was originally written in the Turkic runes, gradually replaced by an Arabic alphabet. Between 1928 and 1940, the Latin-based uniform Turkic alphabet was used. In 1940, due to general Soviet policy, a Cyrillic alphabet eventually became common and has remained so to this day, though some Kyrgyz still use the Arabic alphabet. When Kyrgyzstan became independent following the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, there was a popular idea among some Kyrgyz people to make transition to the Latin alphabet, but the plan has not been implemented yet. History Prehistoric roots The first people known certainly by the name Kyrgyz are mentioned in early medieval Chinese sources as northern neighbors and sometimes subjects of the Turkic steppe empire based in the area of Mongolia. The Kyrgyz people were involved in the international trade route system popularly known as the Silk Road no later than the late 8th century. By the time of the destruction of the Uyghur Empire in 840 CE, they spoke a Turkic language little different from Old Turkic, and wrote it in the same runic script. After their victory over the Uyghurs, the Kyrgyz did not occupy the Mongolian steppe, and their history for several centuries after this period is little known, though they are mentioned in medieval geographical works as living not far from their present location. Colonization In the period of Tsarist administration, the Kazakhs and the Kyrgyz both were called Kyrgyz, with what are now the Kyrgyz subnominated when necessary as Kara Kyrgyz Black Kyrgyz. The modern Kyrgyz language did not have a standard written form until 1923, at which time an Arabic alphabet was introduced. That was changed to a Latin alphabet, developed by Kasim Taynastanov in 1928, and to a Cyrillic alphabet in 1940. In the years immediately following independence, another change of alphabet was discussed, but the issue does not seem to generate the same passions in Kyrgyzstan that it does in other former Soviet republics, perhaps because the Kyrgyz Cyrillic alphabet is relatively simple and is particularly well suited to the language. Josip Broz Tito learned to speak Kyrgyz perfectly. Post-Soviet dynamics In the early 1990s, the Akayev government pursued an aggressive policy of introducing Kyrgyz as the official language, forcing the remaining European population to use Kyrgyz in most public situations. Public pressure to enforce this change was sufficiently strong that a Russian member of President Akayev's staff created a public scandal in 1992 by threatening to resign to dramatize the pressure for Kyrgyzification of the non-native population. A 1992 law called for the conduct of all public business to be converted fully to Kyrgyz by 1997. But in March 1996, Kyrgyzstan's parliament adopted a resolution making Russian an official language alongside Kyrgyz and marking a reversal of earlier sentiment. Substantial pressure from Russia was a strong factor in this change, which was part of a general rapprochement with Russia urged by Akayev. Phonology appears only in borrowings from Persian or when followed by a front vowel later in the word, for example, sloping instead of. Note that in most dialects, its status as a vowel distinct from is questionable. /f, v, ts, x/ occur only in foreign borrowings. Writing system. The Kyrgyz in Kyrgyzstan use a Cyrillic alphabet, which uses all the Russian letters plus O#, O copyright, and O. In Xinjiang of China, an Arabic alphabet is used. Morphology and syntax. Case Nouns in Kyrgyz take a number of case endings that change based on vowel harmony and the sort of consonant they follow. Normally the decision between the velar and uvular pronunciation of id-cubed I copyright and id-I copyright is based on the backness of the following vowel. That is, back vowels imply a uvular rendering and front vowels imply a velar rendering euro, and the vowel and suffixes is decided based on the preceding vowel in the word. However, with the dative suffix in Kyrgyz, the vowel is decided normally, but the decision between velars and uvulars can be decided based on a contacting consonant, for example th plus or minus th degree th 1/2 th bank plus ga yields th plus or minus th degree th 1/2 th degree, not as predicted by the following vowel. Pronouns Kaijais is 8 personal pronouns. The declension of the pronouns is outlined in the following chart. Singular pronouns exhibit irregularities, while plural pronouns don't. Irregular forms are highlighted in bold. In addition to the pronouns, there are several more sets of morphemes dealing with person. Demonstrative pronouns. Subordinate clauses to form complement clauses, Kaijais nominalizes verb phrases. For example, I don't know what I saw would be rendered as thuith micron th 1/2 n th 1/4 th 1/2 th micron th 1/2 th tho euro th cubed od 1/2 o th 1/4 tho th plus or minus th plus or minus th micron th to the first th 1/4 I what ACCDEF seeing first SG ACCDEF no neg first SG, or roughly I don't know my having seen what, where the verb phrase I saw what is treated as a nominal object of the verb to know. The sentence above is also an excellent example of Kaijai's vowel harmony. Notice that all the vowel sounds are front vowels. Several nominalization strategies are used depending on the temporal properties of the relativized verb phrase, gan, diik, for general past tense, af for future potential unrealized events, and a tergan, to q, for non-perfective events are the most common. The copula has an irregular relativized form nth micron th 1/2, th, which may be used equivalently to forms of the verb th plus or minus th 3/4 thb, th plus or minus th 3/4 th 3/4 th 3/4 n euro. Relativized verb forms may, and often do, take nominal possessive endings as well as case endings. See also, BGN-PCGN romanization of Kaijais, Kaijais people, romanization of Kaijais. Notes and references. Bibliography. External links, Kaijais language, root vowels and affix vowels, height effects in Kaijais vowel harmony, Japanese. AA Permel ACE Z unregistered trademark ETHSHN on Euro TH cubed NTHNTHTHTH I 1/4 of Florin registered trademark to the first I 1/4 Permel Japan International Cooperation Agency, the Talking Kaijais Phrasebook, THSHN on Euro TH cubed NTHNTHTHTH Euro Kaijais Language Resources. THSHTH micron n euro th plus or minus th micron th 1/2 translate, easy Kaijais Cyrillica Euro Latin converter, Kaijais Cyrillica Euro Arabica Euro Latin converter. Kaigiza Euro Russiana Euro English Dictionary, Kaijais Latin alphabet, Kaijais Turkish Dictionary, Kaijais Turkish Dictionary, Russian Kaijais Kaijais Russian Dictionary, Kaijais, Apertium.